Well, the bureaucracy was such that there were quota numbers, and you needed a sponsor. Most of the family, my mother's side, had been sponsored by an aunt that lived in Brooklyn, but there was a limit to how many families an individual could sponsor. So we were trying to find someone, and we found an uncle of my mother's who lived in Seattle. And he sent us an affidavit, and we applied to the German consulate for a visa, and we were given a date to appear, which we did. We had to go to Stuttgart. And we passed our physicals, and everything was fine, and then we had to sit down for an interview. And among the questions was, how do you intend to get to America? And my father, being a very truthful man, said, we have tickets. I don't remember the ship that we had tickets on. And next question was, how did you get the tickets? And my father said, my brother-in-law sent me the tickets from America. Well, we cannot let you go to America unless you pay for the passage yourself. Visa denied. Then we had to sell some of our possessions. We didn't have that much left by that time because it was 1939 already. Excuse me. We managed to get tickets for a Holland America Line ship that was leaving Antwerp on November 2nd, 1939. And we contacted the consulate. They gave us a date to appear. Went back, we went through the same routine again. This time we got the visa. So we packed what was then in Germany called a lift. It was a wooden crate, big wooden crate, shipping crate, with what we wanted to take. Sold some of what we had left, and prepared to leave. I was still in Heidelberg going to school because I was still in 8th grade. I had to go to school. My sister was with a Jewish family in Darmstadt, where she was learning how to be a housewife. And she was 17. And we left Germany on November 29th, 1939. We went to Holland overnight, and then the following day we were supposed to go to Antwerp and get on the ship. On the 30th of October, my father saw a German paper in Holland, and he bought it, and he's looking at it, and the headline is Hitler closes the German borders. So we were very lucky to get out, and we boarded ship on November 2nd, and it took 13 days to get into New York Harbor. Very bad trip. And we arrived, and my mother's cousin, who had become a very successful businessman, came to meet us at the ship because the plan was we would stay with them a few days and then we would go to Seattle to Uncle Henry. And none of us spoke any English. So cousin Charlie says, first thing he says, you don't say anything. I will do the talking for you. All right, we let him do the talking. We get into his car, and as we're going across the Manhattan Bridge. He says, now I'll tell you why I said not to say anything. He says to my mother, your Uncle Henry died. Now, if the immigration authorities had known that, we would have been back on the ship and sent back. So that's how we wound up in New York instead of in the state of Washington.